Marvel's Avengers is a video game released in 2020 by Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics. The game was announced all the way back in 2017 as Project Avengers, but didn't get a full reveal until 2019 at the end of Square Enix's E3 conference of that year, as Marvel's Avengers, no subtitle. I found this trailer a pretty miserable end to a pretty decent E3 conference, with ugly looking character designs and the announcement that the game was gonna try to have its cake and eat it too, with a story mode and an always online semi-multiplayer live service bundled together. They did say there would be no DLC or microtransactions though, so hey, that's a tiny step up from its competitors. Oops, there's microtransactions in the final release. Way to be clown, Square Enix. At the end of the conference, they revealed that Hank Pym would be coming to the game, but I thought he was Star-Lord until people online corrected me about it, which soured the game further for me. And he's not even playable in the final game, he's just there in the story mode. The game got a massive discount a few months after it released, so I decided to put my money where my mouth is and try it out for myself to form my own opinion on this scum advertisement. And I couldn't even finish it. I got more than halfway through the game and I didn't want to play anymore. I know the game could get better, but first impressions are important, and the game bored and frustrated me for a good 7 hours in a 12-hour long campaign. And the worst part is, this game's problems are all problems with the modern gaming industry. So sit back as I explain why Avengers is everything wrong with the modern gaming industry. The story has the Avengers disband after the death of Captain America, but MODOK and his goons are planning some evil stuff, so Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, gets the Avengers back together to save the day. I think it's pretty cool that they made Kamala the protagonist of this game. If only it was a good game, but we'll get to that later. While she does have awkward writing bits here and there, I think she's overall a likable character, but the problem is she's the only character I'm attached to. The other Avengers here are pretty boring, with not much in the way of personality or compelling storylines, not even funny quips. And then there's the main villain, MODOK, who really shouldn't have been the main villain of this game, with the realistic art style. I mean, this game already looks pretty bland and lifeless, but MODOK makes the presentation problem 1,000 times more apparent. Speaking of presentation, this is unfortunately another Marvel project that has fallen victim to MCUification, which is pretty unfortunate as there's lots of interesting ideas, characters, and storylines from the comics and cartoons they could have used in this game. But instead, we get a dollar store Avengers movie. As for the core gameplay of Marvel's Avengers, you pick between 6 heroes: Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, Black Widow, Thor, and Miss Marvel, who admittedly all have a unique feel to them. The characters all have a basic attack, heavy attack, special moves, dodges, and jumps, the fundamentals for a superhero game. Unfortunately, these fundamentals are broken as attacking isn't satisfying because of the lack of flow to combat. Instead of feeling natural, fast, and fun like Insomniac's Spider-Man games, it's clunky, slow, and frustrating. The enemy variety doesn't help as it just consists of boring aim robots, which is a wasted opportunity with the diverse group of villains the Avengers have at their disposal. Speaking of the enemies, sometimes there's way too many for single player. Instead of a few challenging yet fair enemies, the developers just threw a bunch of enemies into a room to create artificial challenge, which frustrates the player instead of encouraging them to keep on playing. This is probably a side effect of the multiplayer aspect, but even so, they could have included a scaling mechanic where, depending on how many players are playing, you get a certain number of enemies. If more people are playing, there'll be more enemies. If less people are playing, there'll be less enemies. The simultaneously dull and frustrating gameplay is the reason I couldn't finish it. And now to beg you to not waste your money on this game. Yes, Spider-Man, Black Panther, and other Avengers are coming later in expansions, but you won't be having fun with them because of the frustratingly dull combat, ugly aesthetics, and reliance on in-game purchases over being an entertaining game. Oh yeah, this game has expensive microtransactions for new costumes, but the game isn't fun and the costumes look bad, so why should I buy them? Clearly not a lot of people because Square Enix admitted they lost money on this game. If you really want to buy a Marvel game, buy Insomniac's Spider-Man games or Ultimate Alliance 3 instead. That's all I gotta say. Screw this game and other AAA games trying to cash in on the live service market. It's everything wrong of modern gaming, and I hope its failure will teach fellow companies a lesson or two about making a quality product first and foremost. Sorry to mention the Insomniac Spider-Man games for the 3rd time in this video, but they were focused on being a quality single-player experience first and foremost. They didn't lock costumes behind a paywall, they let you unlock the costumes by playing the game, and the game was fun. Phew! You know what, it felt nice to do this video. It got a lot out of my system that I've been holding in for more than half a year. More positive videos soon, I promise.